Well, let's speak to some of our guests. Abdul is a Libyan dentist who lives in the north of England. Fadwa is a student, an American Libyan student living in Washington, D.C. And we also have Akli, who is in the north of England as well, a Libyan. Before we speak to all of them, let's cross to the World Have Your Say news desk, because Danny from the team has been looking over all the messages that you're sending in. Danny, what can you share with us?
Well, lots of countries calling in fact 42 so far. Australia, Morocco, Italy, and of course Libya itself. And the divide is, as you've been saying, Roz, a little bit like this. Bernard in Iraq emails, Gaddafi lived by the sword and died by it. Any concerns about how he died are misplaced. And this from Jonas in Germany tweeting, the death wasn't too bad compared to the deaths he had ordered. And on the other side, we have this from Free the World. He tweets, it was unnecessary to subject Gaddafi to these horrendous scenes. Where is the humanity? And that 2-1 split is a pretty good reflection of the calls that we have been receiving. Don't forget, you can keep in touch by using the hashtag WHYS.
Thank you very much indeed, Danny. The phone number is country code 44 2070 83 72 72. Before we speak to our guests in BBC studios, let's bring in Andrew, who's in Juba in South Sudan. Andrew, give us your reaction to the way that Colonel Gaddafi died.
Hello, this is Andrew calling from Southern Juba.
We're listening, Andrew. Go ahead.
My reaction to the way the Gaddafi died is like, what those people did to Gaddafi was very, very bad. Actually, it was inhumane for someone to act like that, because they blamed him for being a dictator, a tyrant, and an animal. But what I saw yesterday, I saw animals, what animals could do. The way they killed him and everything they did, they were real animals. They just proved that even Gaddafi was right for sticking in power, because all along this is what they wanted to do to him. So when they got the chance, they used it.
So your point is, well, you make several points, but the last one you make is that he was right to hold on to power because he knew this was how he would be treated. Let's shift from you to Ghanem, who's with us from Saudi Arabia. He's actually Yemeni, but living in Saudi Arabia at the moment. Ghanem, what's your point?
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate all Libyan heroes for their victory. Also, I want to say about Libya, they were living in a war for almost 9 months. So in war, expect anything, it will happen. So for example, like Gaddafi, he should be treated very well, and this thing. Those people who captured him, they are not professional soldiers. They are normal people living in carrying weapons. So expect anything from them. So the reaction from them, we don't know how much they suffer, how was their family going, how much death they happen in there. So I think this is a war, so expect anything that happens.
Thank you very much for your points, Ghanem. You're a Yemeni in Saudi Arabia. Craig's living in Vancouver. He says Gaddafi was executed so that he could not return. Good, although it is worth reiterating, I'm going to say this again and again, we don't know that he was executed, we just don't know the circumstances in which he died. Steve's in Malta posting on our Facebook page, a celebration in a death, I see no justice there. And Nabila's just tweeted us from Mumbai, Gaddafi's assassination was a result of his own actions. Well, let's put that point to our guests in the studios. Akli, in the north of England, first of all, what about this idea that you can't expect the NTC fighters to behave like soldiers, because many of them aren't soldiers, they're just volunteers?
Yeah, I think that's a good point actually, because as you know, these people who have been fighting the dictator for almost now 9 months, all of them are ordinary people who come just out, and most of them are volunteers. So I am one of them who are expecting them to react in the way they react, but if I were one of them, I wouldn't actually kill him in the way he killed. I was very happy about the end of his regime, but I wouldn't actually treat anyone else in the way he has been treated. But as you know, there's a lot of excuses in this. You can't actually judge these people because they have been fighting on the ground for almost 9 months, and also they are not soldiers. They don't know anything about the world. Most of them have revenge, and many of them just want to get rid of him. So
let's bring in Abdulaziz, because Abdulaziz, you've been very critical of what's happened, but a lot of these fighters were not fighters a year ago. They're regular people who have lost loved ones, who have seen fellow fighters killed in gruesome fashion by Colonel Gaddafi's men. Can't you understand why they might want to take revenge?
They can take revenge, my friends, but the problem is they've been brainwashed by the media. What they did to the old injured man, it doesn't fair by any standard. We live in a Muslim country. We have a Muslim category. Nobody saying or applying this Muslim category to anybody. I've been campaigning for over 8 months around the Libyan problems, and I call myself the third way. We are all over our condolences to all our lives lost in Libyan war. We all sad about any loss of life in Libya, even the Gaddafi himself. But we need to see by our wisdom, by our head, we see and see what's there.
Well,
what's behind the
Abdulaziz,
scene?
you say, let me jump in here, because you say we are all sad by any loss of life. I have to be honest with you, looking at the reaction coming into the BBC from Libyans, I'm not seeing a great deal of sadness for Colonel Gaddafi's death. Fuad, you're with us from Tripoli, and we're seeing pictures of celebrations in Libya. Do you know anyone who feels sad for Colonel Gaddafi? Fuad, can you hear us?
Yes, no, I don't know anyone who's actually sad for that Gaddafi was killed. Again, Mr. Abdulaziz, you weren't here in Libya when the event started, so hearing you talking about what should be done is not fair, because again, you're far away. You can't blame the freedom fighters because they were traumatized. I mean, when you lose loved ones and family, it's really unpredictable what you could do to that person that you blame for what happened. Therefore, you can't really be away and be talking like that.
What I'm talking,
go ahead, Abdulaziz.
Yeah, what I'm talking about our Muslim standard. We have our own religion standard, which saying don't kill an innocent people, captured soldier. That all standard. Where is it gone? Where is it gone? This standard. How we can build? A Gaddafi has been died. A Gaddafi is finished. What the country is going.
Abdulaziz, you asked a question. Let's give Fuad a chance to respond. Your question is a clear one. Where is the standard here, Fuad? Why is the NTC not maintaining certain standards?
Again, sorry, I just need to point something out. The freedom fighters are not fighting for NTC. They're fighting for Libya, but NTC, as the new government, they're controlling how things are going. But still, I mean, Libyans are not fighting for NTC. I just need to make that clear.
And that's an interesting point, because Akram, who we spoke to in Tripoli, said we might be taking instructions from the NTC, but we're fighting for Libya, we're not fighting for them. Fuad, you wanted to make another quick point.
Yes, the standards on how Gaddafi was handled, yes, it wasn't, I mean, we would rather that he was captured and brought to justice, I mean, from my point of view. But again, you can't just, for Mr. Abdulaziz, you can't just describe Gaddafi as a 72 years old man, because I mean the guy was horrible. I mean he slaughtered people, for God's sake, his own people.
I think he was also 69, although I don't mean to be pedantic. Fuad, thank you very much for being with us from Tripoli. Abdulaziz in the north of England, we appreciate your contributions as well. I can see that calls have come in from Mozambique, Thailand, Eritrea, Zimbabwe and Belgium in the past few minutes. Remember, if you don't get on air, we'll also write up the comments that you call in and put them on the screen just to my left. And also, World Have Your Say Extra, which will be on air in around an hour and a half's time, just over an hour and a half, is extended to 30 minutes today, so we can make room for all the calls that we're receiving. So keep getting in touch. We'll keep working your comments into our discussions and our coverage of Colonel Gaddafi's death. We're going to take a pause for a couple of minutes, and then we'll keep on here on BBC World News.